when I first came in, I trained with Gordon. I think he was 18 years old. He was a purple belt. I'm like, oh, who's this kid? He was tough. I mean, I beat him up, but it was just like, I'm like, this is a tough purple
Yeah.
belt. And I came back like 6 months later, and it was like, I was like barely beating him. And then 6 months later, it was like we'd evened out. And then like he passed me. It's like, what the hell? I'd never seen
Yeah.
anyone excel that
Yeah.
quick.
No, it's an amazing thing. The progress of all those guys is just outstanding. And I'm very proud of everything they've accomplished. But let me tell you, they worked hard for it. And
yeah, the work ethic is insane.
Yeah.
And like I said, people don't realize they were driving. If you want to make something happen, you'll make it happen. They were driving 2.5 hours every day. And then Gary was teaching at night. George St. Pierre would fly down, train with you. Guys that want to get great, they go and make it happen.
Yes. When George started, he was a garbage man. He would take the bus from Montreal, that's 6 hours, to New York on Friday nights and train with us Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and then take the bus back home. And when you want something badly, you'll find a way to make it happen. And,
well, I mean, I was past my prime, but I liked your innovation. So I moved across the country because I wanted to study jiu-jitsu for a little bit because I love the art. So it's like, if you want to make something happen, you make it happen. Don't make excuses. I think people should realize that. But yeah, no, I'd love to see Gary fight again soon. So yeah, your team's actually, the team fell apart. We won't get into that, but there was, after COVID, everyone left New York. The team split in two, unfortunately. I think a lot of people already know this, but it's, I'm really impressed with how fast you pulled the team back together.
Yes. There was a split in the team in Puerto Rico. We were in Puerto Rico training during the COVID era. And when we came back to the United States, I actually didn't want to go to Puerto Rico. My recommendation to the team was to go to Texas. They didn't want to be in New York, so I said we should go to Texas. We had a group vote, and the vote was decisively in favor of Puerto Rico. I was, interestingly, the only person who voted alongside me was, of all people, Nicky Rod.
Yeah, clearly that was a terrible idea when you guys moved out there.
So after Puerto Rico fell apart, we moved to Austin. That was originally the goal, and the other team members also went to Austin, Texas. So ironically, we ended up together. The team that had split it up ended up in the same city. And then there was a whole question of what do we do? I was actually going to just retire then. I thought, we've done a lot, and the whole breakup thing was kind of sad, to be honest.
It's really depressing.
So I was thinking, this is a good time to call it quits. And I was going to go back to New York, but at the time Gordon was very, very sick, and it wasn't clear that he was going to be able to compete. He was actually retired at that time. In Austin, Texas, I was teaching at a local jiu-jitsu school, and I was there for a few months, and I said, maybe I'll just stay here. And then some just remarkable people started coming in. A youngster from South Africa, Luke Griffith, came in. He was just a kid from South Africa who had competed and lost at the European ADCC trials. He came in and started training. John Calabadoni, who I knew from working in Boston for BJJ Fanatics, wanted to come down and train. Nicholas Miragali he met me originally, and then Gordon at BJJ Fanatics, and he expressed interest in switching from gi to no gi. A group of others came in, and we started just training at this local school at Roca, and everyone made remarkable progress. And then they were competing very well locally, and as time went by, I just stayed longer and longer, and we built up momentum. And then I thought, you know what, let's do another run for ADCC. And we ended up having an even more successful ADCC as a new team called New Wave than the previous ADCC that we were in when the team was together. So it was a remarkable turnaround in a very short period of time. And again, you had those same, I hate to sound repetitive to your audience, but it's that same idea of just immersion in jiu-jitsu, where people were coming in and learning huge amounts of information in a short period of time through this total immersion and technique, training twice a day, every day. And the results were there.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Nicholas. I came in, he was a world champion with no gi, but like
he was a champion in the gi.
Yeah, with the gi, that's what I meant. And I think he just started taking it off, and like he did not feel world championship no-gi level to me at that point. I'm like, oh, this guy is not going to. Did he win Abu Dhabi that first year? Like that,
he got a silver and a bronze,
and that was a short time period. Like his improvement was
crazy.
I came back 2 months later and trained with him. It was like a different person.
Yeah,
because I'm like, oh, this guy's all right. And then
shortly after ADCC, he went on to defeat by submission numerous ADCC champions. All no-gi. What he did in the time available
jump wasn't crazy. When I first came, it was obviously
when he first came in, he was getting tapped out by the blue belts and with leg locks, like just simple leg locking, and then just 4 or 5 months after that, he was a killer, and then since then he's just taken off. But he's a fascinating person to coach. He's very emotional guy and very intuitive. Gordon's like coaching a mathematician, and Nicholas Miragali's like coaching a musician, like a Mozart. Mm-hmm. And they're very different psychologically. One's a very algorithmic thinker, and one's more of a heuristic thinker. And but both of them are incredible.
Yeah, like I said, because I mean, just the jump. I'd never seen anyone. Well, I guess Gordon too, but just how fast he got good so quick.
Yeah.
It was impressive to me. It was like shocking. Like, oh, this is not the same guy I trained with 3 or 4 months ago, whatever it was. And Luke too, man, he was like a tough guy that came over, and now I haven't trained with him in a while. He's huge now too. Like, I don't know if I want to train with him anymore.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, look at him like, this guy's gotten too big and it looks too good. Did he win Abu Dhabi last year?
He got silver medal.
Oh yeah, but it was with like
Felipe Pena.
Close match with an absolute legend. So he's right there too. It's like, you have all these world champions, and right next to world champions again, just like that.
Yes, no, it's a remarkable thing.
Yeah, because it was sad when the team broke up for me. I wasn't there. I went thinking, oh, maybe I could mediate things. I stopped by B team. I talked to Gordon, and I'm just like, oh, this is not happening. Yeah. I tried talking to the guys like, hey, can we patch this up? And it was just no. Yeah. You know how life goes sometimes.
I think when they get older, they'll patch things up pretty quickly. Like at the end of the day, they were friends much longer than they were apart from each other, and they got along great for so many years. And you know how guys are. When guys split up, sometimes you need the animosity to make the split happen more organically and naturally. It's like when you and George knew each other before. When you were fighting, if you got into a room together, it would have been pretty fucking awkward.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be in the room with them.
Once you stopped fighting each other, you became best friends. Like I believe in the idea of that. We all have a lot more in common with each other than we do differences, and there's times when we focus on the difference, and that's when conflict happens. And then there's other times we step back. Usually, time is the factor which is involved here. You step back. There's time to reflect, and you realize we had a lot of good times together. There's a lot more similarities there. So I'm cautiously optimistic that time can cure most things.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Like I hated Mayhem for years, and I talked to him on the phone the other day because Rampage is like, just give him a call. I'm like, I'm like, you know what? Why not? Why do we hate each other? I couldn't even remember why we hated each other. I'm thinking like, wait, why do we hate each other? Okay, I'll call him. You realize how stupid it is.
You know things are bad when you can't remember the reason why you hate someone.
Yeah, he knew he hated me, and then you realize, wait, I know I hate this guy. Isn't it funny like that? So I just called him, and they were like laughing. Yeah. So, and I would really like to see Gordon and Nikki, his brother, patch it up. Of course, like they're brothers, and
they have a mother. How do you think she feels when she goes to sleep at night?
Tough. Like, I really hope
it's got to be the worst feeling in the world watching two sons not get along. The good news is they do talk now. They get along a lot better than they did previously. But I remember when I was a kid, I grew up with two brothers, and we used to fight every day. And but at the end of the day, you just hug and make up. It's like so as I said, they were together much longer than they were apart. So I'm cautiously optimistic that time will cure most things.
Yeah, I think you're correct. Something we'll talk to you earlier today. I hadn't trained with you well and came in, and remembered you don't use round timers, and I'm so used to training on round timers, 5-minute rounds. And just that no round timer. Like, why do you do that? For one, for an athlete, it's hard for us to not see the time. So as a coach,
if you look at most athletic endeavors, they're always the boundaries are set by a clock. And if you look at the effect of the clock on the way the mind works, it's pretty interesting. There's an old cliche that always gets thrown around that if you throw a man into the ocean and you just fly off, he'll be dead in 3 minutes. But if you take that same man, you throw him into the ocean, and you say, we'll be back in 24 hours to pick you up, he will find a way to survive. And he'll be there alive in 24 hours. What's the difference? Because time gives you hope. And as long as you have that hope, you'll fight. But if there's no hope, you'll just accept the situation and drown. Same thing when you put a clock on the wall. When you tell someone this is going to be a 5-minute round, if it's going badly for them, in their head, they're just saying one mantra, 2 minutes left, survive. And they'll fight all the way through to that 5 minutes and they'll survive it. But if you put 2 guys on the mat and you just say, just go, let's see what happens. If they feel that they're losing and they fall apart mentally, that's a sign of some kind of mental weakness.